Hello and welcome to this week's IG Live. Today we are going to be talking about some special events we have coming up. We have a workshop coming up over on Makeaway Mindset, and you can go there and sign up. It's on tuning out the noise. For those that missed it, we had a really amazing workshop a few weeks back. Hello, actually last month on self-love. The negativity so you can build the life that you want, build your best life. And so we've got Deedee Cummings coming on to talk to us about that. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm having a great day today. The weather has finally taken a turn. It might be 40 degrees next week, but this week it's in the 70s. Happy.
That's how, well, it's almost that here. I think we're going to be upper 60s, but
Yeah,
still, I'll take
yeah.
it.
Me too. Me too. It's a beautiful day here, so I'm in a great mood. I just heard you doing the introduction for tuning out the noise. I'm so excited about this next workshop that's coming up. The last workshop we did, the number one question I got at the end was, when are we doing this again? So
Yes.
everybody goes over to Makeaway Mindset and goes to the link in the bio and registers for this class because it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be amazing because I know we talked about this before, but I just really felt like I got so much out of it. Even though we've had so many conversations and I feel like I've already learned a lot, there was still so much at that workshop that I felt like was new information or a new way of thinking about things on a topic that sometimes I feel like we think we know about, and yet there was still so much that that I really learned. And I mean, that I learned, but also just got motivation to actually take and put into action.
Well, I just feel like a lot of times, we hear these terms, and so everybody's talking about things like self-care. I'm going to lower my camera just a little bit. We're always learning about, this term self-care. People keep talking about it, but for busy moms, which that might be a redundant thing to say. I might not even need to say busy moms. I should just say for moms.
Right.
For normal moms, we hear about these things, but nobody really, I shouldn't say nobody, but mostly we don't hear about how to practically implement it in our daily. Yeah.
Right.
I say nobody, because there are people out there talking about it, but obviously it's not enough, because every time I talk to a mom, they say, that's great, that you're talking about self-care, but I don't know how to fit this in. And so I hope that was one of the biggest takeaways from the workshop we did a few weeks ago was that people got really practical steps for how to just, and we underestimate 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of time that you give to yourself. We really underestimate what a big difference that has in your day. Number one. Number two, a lot of times people say, well, they don't even have 15 minutes. If you don't have 15 minutes, you really have to reevaluate what you're doing with your time in a day. And I don't mean that to sound critical. I mean that in the most empathetic way, as someone who didn't used to give themselves 15 minutes. If you don't have 15 minutes, then you're the person I'm talking to. You probably need to take time for self-care more than anyone else.
Right.
I see you got a Kayla poster back there. That's so cool. That is awesome.
I have to put it back. I took it out of my daughter's room, so I remember to move it back after. She won't be very happy with me.
Well,
I have the books, but I haven't figured out how now to get them all in the frame. Maybe I'll do like that.
that's really
both there. All right.
I know that I'm the creator of this series, but every time I see it, it just stops me. I mean, it's just so breathtaking. And largely that's, in large part to Charlene, our illustrator, but what a breathtaking series. And that poster that's behind you is actually probably my favorite cover, because it just kind of speaks to me about everything that we do. Again, going back to the Tuning Out the Noise workshop that we're going to have next week. In that series, Kayla had to learn how to tune out a lot of noise in life, because people are very quick to tell us, how we should follow our dreams or how quickly we should give up on our dreams. People are very fast to give us advice in that area. So we have to practice tuning people out so that we can accomplish what we need to. I want to see who joined us here. Oh, once fit. Hey, how are you? I remember seeing you on another one. So glad to see you today. And I hope you join us for tuning out the noise next week. So I'm just taking over your live,
Yep.
Leanna. What questions do
Oh,
you
this is that's why you're here. This is your life.
Well, I am glad that you got to see the other workshop. So
Mm.
you know what it is, you know what it looks like, and you know that it's beneficial. That's awesome.
And we should tell people that this is free. Now, there are paid workshops and paid other programs that you
Yeah.
have available through Makeaway Media, but this is so that people can get a taste. I know I always wonder, if I'm signing up for something paid, you want to make sure you're getting your money's worth, and you
Yeah.
want to, if you can try it out first, even better. And so this is a way for people to kind of get a preview of what they can get out of those the paid classes
Yeah.
that you're offering as well.
And
But this one is free, so come
yeah,
and join and get what you can out of it, because it's really
it
wonderful.
is a great way to get a taste of what the whole Makeaway Mindset program is. But I think I'll always do stuff free.
Yeah.
So I didn't just do it so that people could get a taste. I'm trying to, I have to put my glasses on to see. Oh, Blender 5, yeah, hey, I've seen you before. How are you? But it is so that people can get a taste of Makeaway Mindset. But more importantly than that, I'm always going to do stuff free. I'm always going to help moms. I'm always going to help people who need to slow down and make their dreams come true. This is why we post so much on social media. We post inspiring messages, and just the other day we got a message from somebody who said, please don't stop posting, we need your positivity. And that just meant everything to me. So I'm glad that we're helping some people that are out there, because as you know, I talk a lot about social media just being packed with noise, and we don't want to be more noise. We want to be helpful. We want to make sure that what we're doing is actually stuff that people need. And we either had a survey go out to our newsletter last weekend, or it will go out this coming weekend. We're sending a survey to our entire Makeaway Media family. If you're on our newsletter, asking you what you would like to hear more about, because that's why we exist. We are trying to help parents raise healthy, caring kids who read.
Right. Yeah, I think, right. I mean, because I think, like you said, not providing more noise, but actually giving people
Yeah.
tools they can use, whether it's through our lives. You've given a lot of people a lot of practical tips. We've had other people come on who are experts in different areas and share their own expertise, and the K Club, which is all free, and yet you're not flooding people's inboxes either. I mean, I think it's like you said, it's all very thoughtfully done. So you don't have to, sometimes people worry about signing up for a newsletter and they think, oh, my inbox is going to be so full now, but it really isn't. But it's all tools and practical things that
Yeah.
you can put to use right away.
I really try to treat people the way I want to be treated. And I don't like when I kind of like trust somebody when I sign up for something. I'm saying, like, I like your product, so I'm signing up for a coupon, or I do respect what you do and I want to hear what you have to say. But there have been times, Leanna, and I don't know if this has happened to you or not, where I've signed up for like what they call a lead magnet, where it's supposed to be something that'll help you. So it might be like, for instance, a publishing checklist, which is pretty cool, pretty neat, just to see what other people are doing. That's a great thing to sign up for. Well, I'll sign up for that. And seriously, I'm not exaggerating. From several of these types of outlets, I've ended up getting a dozen emails in a day, or a dozen emails in 2 days. What they're trying to do is, automatically sell you on something, and they don't realize I'm not going to open those 12 emails. I just go to the last one they sent and hit unsubscribe. So,
Right, exactly.
again, it's so important to me that we make sure that we're not just more noise. We want to be helpful to people. We want you to listen to a live, or see a social media post, or read one of our books, or watch us on YouTube, or get our email and leave feeling inspired. Like, okay, I didn't think I had 15 more minutes to give. Makeaway me, just, help me find those 15 minutes. I'm going to
Right,
carry, you know,
right, right.
that's
Well, maybe you could give people a little taste of what are we going to be talking about at the workshop.
Um, my whole overall mission that I tend to talk about the most, other than empathy, is dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like when you have a dream, um, you just walk with a different purpose in life. I also think that this is one reason why suicide rates are on the rise. And I know we don't tend to talk about things, that directly on Makeaway Media all the time, but I do feel like we are reaching a time period in the mental health of our country where we need to be more direct about how about things. And when you have purpose, when you have meaning and passion in your life, and you know why you're here, even when it's a struggle, even when it's hard to make your dream come to life, you'll wake up excited to make that dream come true every day. You'll wake up wanting to make the next contact or check out the next book from the library to read about whatever area your dream is in. And one of the hardest things to do while you're trying to put your dream in motion is to tune out noise, because there are just so many messages in the world about what a waste of time dreams are. And I think where those messages come from is because some people want to keep us worker bees. They want to keep us exhausted so that we don't have time to plan. They want to keep us tired so we can't run our own side hustle. They want to keep us busy and confused so that all we can do is show up for our 9 to 5 job. I have many people I work with who are showing up for 9 to 9 jobs or 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I have many people I work with that are from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., going home, taking a nap, and working another shift from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's everywhere. Exhaustion, confusion, and noise is everywhere. So I want to talk to our group that gets together for our next workshop, Tuning Out the Noise, about how to carve all that out of your life, how to put it in a box and listen to your own intuition and your own gut about how you are going to run your day, not how you're going to let someone else run your day. And I do understand, especially if you're working in like a factory job from 6 in the morning to 6 p.m., you're not going to have a whole lot of control over your day because you have to be in this spot and you have to perform these functions. But you can dream all day long. You can make a plan mentally for what you're going to do at 6 p.m. When you hit the parking lot, you still can take 15 minutes for yourself, unless the daycare closes at 6:30. Then you rush to the daycare, you pick the kids up, you get them home, you give them something to eat, and then you take the 15 minutes. You have to take some time to hear your mind and your heart and your gut about the reason why you're here on this planet.
Mm. I love that. Because I mean, I think, that is so practical as far as what people are experiencing and what they're going through. And yet, I think a lot of times people have the idea that dreams are for other people, for people
Yes.
that have the time, that have the resources. But like you always say, if you were given that dream, you have it for a reason.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have dreams, but sometimes they get beaten out of us. So I'm a therapist, as you know, and a lot of times when I meet people, one of the saddest things I can hear people say is that they don't have a dream at all. No dream, none. And that's because somewhere along the line, someone told them they had a dream, they had an idea, and somebody told them it was ridiculous,
Right.
that it was silly to do, to dream. And so they were told, go out like a normal person and get a job and provide for your family. And that's what kind of keeps you in that loop of, not fulfilling your true calling of why you are here on this planet. And you can only figure out what that is by tuning out noise and getting in touch with all of the thoughts that are moving around in your head, your mind, your heart, and your gut. That's the only way you can find that out. If you're scrolling TikTok all the time,
Yeah.
and I'm not TikTok, I guess I shouldn't say TikTok, I'll say social media. If you're scrolling social media all the time, social media is a great thing in many ways, because as you know, I've met a lot of people I met everyone through Read Your World because of social media. I met you through Read Your World. I met somebody else who's on our team now, Vanessa, all because of social media. So social media is not a horrible thing, but you just can't mindlessly be on it all day long. You can't do that. You have to set a time limit. Set an alarm on your clock or use one of those app management programs where, it'll give you an hour of TikTok a day or whatever it is that, you want to use. But you can't just mindlessly be on these things because we just waste a lot of time. We say we have no time for ourselves, but then we sit down to check Facebook, and 3 hours later, we've gone down this rabbit hole. Have you ever seen something you were interested in, like an article or something,
Right.
and then read the article and it has someone's name in it? And then you're curious about that person. So then you go look up that person. Then you find out that they're married to this person.
Right.
And you want to know more about that person. So you go look up that person. Then you find out that they run this company. And you're really interested in that company for some reason. Either you want to buy something from the company or you want to work for the company. So then you start Googling that company. This is how you blow 3 hours. You just can't.
And it's not, I think people shouldn't see this as a personal failing on their part,
Yeah.
because it's what it's designed for. It's
Yes.
working exactly as it's supposed to.
That's
because
right.
you want us to say, I don't know, you can decide whether you think it's evil or whether it's clever or however you want to think about it, but they're designed to keep you going on that site because that's how they make
That's
money.
exactly.
That's is having more eyeballs, and however long you stay on that site, that's what they're trying to do. So even if you don't mean to spend that much time, I mean, it's just they just know exactly how to hook you in, especially with how they do algorithms now. They know what you like and they know what you want to see, and they make sure that you see it so that you keep on reading and you keep on scrolling.
Mhm.
And like you said, it's not, I like the idea of having an app manager, setting a timer or something, because it's so easy to get on there and not realize how much time you're spending. And so if you have something like that that triggers it, and so you say, okay, now I'm done,
Yes.
I'm going to put it away. Because I think you're right. I think that we live in such a noisy world. We're not used to having quiet time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that can be really uncomfortable for people. And so sometimes I think people, I mean, one is not making time for ourselves. And sometimes I think people avoid it because they don't know how to just be alone with their thoughts. They don't know what that feels like. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward. And so they don't know how to get started. So I think sometimes the scrolling or watching TV or whatever it is a good way not to think about things.
I agree 100%. Our world is designed to be noisy,
Right.
designed to be loud. It's designed to keep us at odds. It's designed to keep us at a dizzying pace.
Yes.
I saw this post the other day where somebody was talking about how, and I get a little frustrated with the amount of homework that my son has, because sometimes he'll have more than an hour. Even in middle school and elementary school, he'd have 2, sometimes even 3 hours of homework. Unbelievable. And I go back and forth between, I'm glad that he has homework because I want him to learn as much as possible. But then other times I'm like, is 8 hours of school not enough? Like,
Right. Yeah.
and I know it's not like a solid 8 hours, but someone posted that homework is just the beginning, like conditioning for us to become adults and not feel like our time at home belongs to us.
Right.
And I never really thought about that, but we are designed, the world is designed to keep us busy. The world is designed to keep us not thinking too much, because everybody can't be Oprah Winfrey or Steve Jobs or a Mark Zuckerberg. And I'm not saying this like those people are geniuses. I'm saying like everybody can't be billionaires, according to our structure.
It's our economy. Right.
Our economy, there need to be more worker bees. And that's why you hear this term, the 1% or whatever. And then there's the 10% after that. But, the vast majority of us need to be worker bees. And so if we have time on our hands, if we have too much time to dream, then we have the chance of becoming an Oprah Winfrey or a Mark Zuckerberg, because we have the time to do our own programming or to write our own story. And so, I mean, I'm grateful for people like Oprah Winfrey, because, you know, she inspires me to follow my dreams.
Mm.
But our economy is very much designed to make sure that the vast majority of us stay in our role, so that we can put out the number of cars we need. You know, we can
Right.
put out the number of cell phones we need. We can have malls open every day, including Sundays. You know, it's just,
Right.
you
Right.
know, silly things like that that we just, you know, take for granted. Um,
I think we found that out during the pandemic or shortly after the pandemic, when so many people were leaving like restaurant jobs and
yeah,
other minimum wage jobs, because they realized they actually had that time
to think.
that we're talking about to think about it and realize, this is not what I want to do with my
Yeah,
life. This is not valuing me.
and
And this is not it. And then they left, and we realized we really need them. We need people
yeah,
to be stuck in those kinds of
yeah,
jobs. And we really suffered without them. And there was a lot of panic about it. But at the same time, on an individual level, that was such a good move for them,
on a
you know. And like you
level.
said,
And the restaurant industry is still suffering
right.
from that. The restaurant industry is still struggling to find people who can cover their shifts all day long. It wasn't a year ago. My husband and I went to a restaurant, and there was a note on the door that said, "We're closing at 7." This is a restaurant that usually stays open until 10, 11 o'clock. And
Mm-hmm.
said, "We're closing at 7 because we don't have the staff." That was probably like 6 months ago.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. When the pandemic hit and no one could eat out, so restaurants cut their staff back, all those people were at home, and we had time to think.
Right.
We had time
Right.
to think not only about what we really wanted to do with our lives. See, those waiters stayed exhausted,
Right.
and all they did was go home and sleep and show up for work the next day. When they had a moment to breathe, they
Mm-hmm.
said, "I don't want to spend my life like this."
What
And
am I doing?
not only did the waiters and waitresses, servers, um, say, "I don't want to spend my life like this," we also had time to fight injustice.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah, I don't think that was a
every,
coincidence. I mean, of course, it was sparked by
everyone,
the murder, but
because
yeah,
they had the time and the energy to flood the streets, and
absolutely.
everyone flooded the streets. And because we had the time and the energy to flood the streets
Mhm.
and demand better. And then what did the president do? He said, "Everybody got to go back to work."
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Everybody back to work.
Because we don't need you guys thinking so much.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so true. I mean, I can't tell you how many people that I've interviewed, either authors or people who are doing, that are following their dreams. I cannot tell you how many of them started in 2020.
mm,
Is they were doing something else and they actually had time to think and they
yeah.
had a break and said, this is not what I want to do. I've always wanted to be an author. I've always wanted to be a therapist, about whatever it is. And so many of them, it was in 2020.
Isn't that amazing?
Mm,
Because we had the time to think.
yes. And so that's why everybody should show up on, let's see, it's March 23rd, 12 p.m. Eastern. I have my little notes here. So go to Makeaway Mindset, go to the link in bio, and you can register, as I've already done. And it's just for an hour. Again, we're talking about not taking a lot of your time, but making it really, really worthwhile.
Yes.
Because I remember thinking, wow, an hour, do I have an hour? And it flew by, and it was so worth it. And
Yeah.
so I encourage everybody to attend, and you can share all of your thoughts and hear a lot more about all these topics.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It was a lot of fun. And I just want to use all of the things that I've learned over the 3 decades I've been working with families, children, and working as a therapist.
Right.
I just want to use all of those things to inspire people. So if you can just give me even 50, 55 minutes to just give you a little bit of information about how you can get some of your time back, how you can find your passion and then put it into I was going to say put it into action, but I'm not a person who rhymes like that, and that was about to be a rhyme, so I didn't want to how you can find passion and put it into action. But that's what we do.
Well, thank you so much for joining. I always have to keep an eye on the clock when
Mhm.
when you're on the live, because I feel like we could just keep on talking for at least an hour
We
or more. So
we could.
thank you. And thanks to everybody who joined in. This will be up in just a minute on Instagram, later on our YouTube channel. And like I said, please go register for the workshop. It's going to be amazing. Thank you. I hope you have a great
Thank you,
weekend.
Leanna.
Bye.
You too.